Folks, another important speaker, another congressional nominee, George Santos. George, who we know as a friend, and he's known as Anthony DeVolder to me. So I don't know where George Santos came into the thing, but that's what it says here. He's the Republican candidate for the New York 3rd Congressional District, running against Pelosi puppet Representative Tom Suozzi, who is facing some radical left-wing Democrats in a primary. George worked at Goldman Sachs and is currently at Leap Bridge Investor, where he quickly advanced to become one of the youngest vice presidents in the industry. That's very impressive, George. Anthony, whatever you are. George has a passion for philanthropy, where he has founded and worked with nonprofit organizations. And I've met with this gentleman one-on-one. There's no one that has a bigger heart, more intelligent, and more passionate. And let's introduce our next congressman in that district, George Santos, Anthony DeVolder. Anthony, come on up.
I'm a victim of circumstances. My parents were Latino, so it's George Anthony DeVolder Santos, commonly known as Anthony. But I just wanted to thank all the speakers prior. Cherie, I've been following you. Congratulations. So I just wanted to start this. America's under attack. And this time the attack's not coming from the outside. It's coming from within. Radical leftists in our Congress have took it upon themselves to diminish our very own constitutional rights. And they're coming for us, and they're coming strong. There's no doubt about it that they're coming for all of our liberties, and if we don't make a strong stance on where we want our country to go, we're doomed. Does everybody agree to that? Yeah. Thought so. All right. Well, putting it that way, not only they're trying to destroy us from within, they want to implement socialism. Socialism, you know, that very same system that Venezuela is doing so well under. You know, it's beautiful. It works great. So to want to demonize our free market and capitalism is absolutely arrogant. We've built this country based on those systems. We've succeeded and have done very well in that system. Sure, one can beg to differ. The Bronx is, South Bronx isn't, you know, benefiting much, but then again, that has to do with that 45-plus Democratic seat there, so I don't want to get into that. But anyway, we can't fight back. We can fight back and protect ourselves pretty much by electing folks like myself, Cherie, and many others who are running for Congress, who want to uphold the constitutional rights that our founding fathers embedded in that very important document. We're not going to allow people to attack us, diminish our Constitution, and also ignore our Bill of Rights. That's just unacceptable in many ways. I have multiple issues that I'm very passionate of, and once I'm elected, and I know I'm getting elected, because Tom Suozzi better watch out. I'm not making it easy for him, not at all. I'm ready for him. So just to put it out there, there's many things that obviously I'm passionate about, and you can log on my website, DeVolder Santos for Congress, and you'll see a list of multiple issues where I want to touch base. But there's three that are really important to me, and I really want to take them on because I just believe that they're that much more special. And the first one, I mean, sorry guys, but it's immigration reform. It's desperately needed. And I know you're probably going to hear this from every single candidate running this cycle. Every one of us understand the desperate need for immigration reform. The freedom of a country stands on borders. If you don't control your borders, you don't have a country. First and foremost, fund and build a wall. There's no way around that. That has to be done. We have to also expand border control and also expand the immigration court system. Process them quicker and get those decisions done faster. We have the funds for it too, if we stop funding daycare centers for them instead. Create a merit-based immigration system, which is actually the way immigration used to be. My family migrated through merit. I'm sure many families here, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't see any natives in here, unless I missed you, sorry. We all migrated through meritocracy. We came in here the right way, we did it the right way, let's keep that system going. You know, there's no question about whether if it's right or wrong, it's common sense. So we need to do that, and one of the biggest problems we have is catch and release. That needs to stop. I mean, you catch the guy, you know, I can go into examples. You kill somebody, catch him, oh, poor guy, served 3 years, go back to the street. Kill someone else, go back. I mean, seriously, we have to stop babysitting them and just send them back to wherever they came from. Period. Enough. Lastly, I think we need to, as Shuri mentioned during her Q&A round, we need to effectively identify the folks who are here, and we need to start to find a solution for status. I absolutely agree that we need to identify the problems from the ones worth actually doing something for. You know, and I think that that's compromise, and life is about compromise. We can't just expect to have ICE deport 11 million people. It's not going to happen. It's unrealistic, and everybody in here, if you think that that's possible, you guys need a cup of coffee. Double espresso, it's on me. It's on me. Because it's not possible, it's not logistically possible, it would cost us a fortune, it would throw us into trillions worth of debt that we don't need to incur. I'd rather rehabilitate them, put them into our society, pay taxes. You know what? You've been reaping the rewards long enough. Now let's see you know, put some money into the pot, right? That's how it should be. So that's my stance as far as immigration goes. I, you know, love to make sure that everybody understands I'm not here saying or advocating amnesty. I know nobody likes that word, and that's not what I'm proposing. It's just compromise in a sense. Not everybody, some. Balancing the budget. Who here thinks that we spend way too much money on nonsense? Raise your hands. So you think that we don't spend enough money? You think we should spend more money, guys? I mean, I didn't see a lot of hands up. Okay, I guess we don't need to address that case. But anywho, if we can control our spending, then we can start building for future leaders to actually put us on the right path. Obviously, it's not going to be in Shuri's time or my time or anyone's time in here serving that we're going to fix the debt, but we can start surfacing the base to then lay down tile, if you want to call it in that sense. So we can do that by pretty much just making sure we start freezing all social welfare spendings that are at large and start reevaluating those very benefits that are wildly misused and have been used to actually be a way of life. I'm not going to lie, I drive a 2012 Nissan, kind of beat up, doesn't look so pretty, but the people in the projects 2 blocks away from me sure as drive nicer cars than I do. So I kind of want to jump on that sometimes, but hey, there's no really incentive to get up and go to work anymore when you're handed housing, you're handed food, you're handed education, and you get a $300 per kid check a week. So no wonder they have a bunch, you know, soccer teams in households nowadays. It's lucrative. We need to reform the programs by implementing, you know, basic standard qualifications such as a simple drug test. I don't think it's that difficult. If you can wait in line for hours to go initiate these services, I'm sure you can go to the restroom real quick and provide a sample. It's not that difficult. We need to go ahead and also require our allies to contribute to their defense. I was at the Trump Breakfast fundraiser last Thursday, so it was an intimate gathering at Cipriani in Grand Central. There was about 300 people in there. It was a very entertaining morning, I will add that. I mean, lots of mimosas and hearing Donald Trump speak could be very entertaining. And he brought something up there that I think is very good for everybody here to know. In the Korea Peninsula, we spend $15 billion a year. And the Koreans pay us $500 million for their protection. So we've been footing for over 50 years. obviously, if you do, your currency change, value of currency throughout the years, it's much more. But $14.5 billion a year to protect another country, a sovereign nation, that, mind you, quoted by Donald Trump himself, you go into South Korea and the Samsung building is so massive, according to him, it makes our manufacturers look this big. They have been pushing their product into our country. I mean, who here has a Samsung? And you can go from that. Most people are using Samsung over Apple, and that's a fact. And they manufacture Apple there too. So hey, we need to start making them pay the bill, not only them and all of our allies. And another way to do it is we need to reevaluate foreign aid. Foreign aid has to be given to strategic allies. I don't think to every single country in the globe. I don't think we're the world savings account, but according to current and past administrations, not saying Trump, but Congress, we're pretty much that. We need to also examine opportunities to privatize government housing operations, meaning enough of the government investigating itself and auditing itself. How about we bring third-party neutral firms to actually do real auditing and actually look at what's actually being done with our money? Remember, there's no such thing as government funded. The government doesn't produce money. It's called taxpayer funded. It's our money. We work very hard for it too. And third, something that I hold close to me, I have the utmost respect for our veterans, and I think veteran affairs is something very important to look at, and I don't see it enough in a lot of candidates' agenda, and it's surprising to me that it's not there. It's something that, to me, we'll put it this way, we have a social contract with these men and women when they go off to put their lives on the line to protect ourselves, to sit here and eat this fine meal and talk about policies here, There's people out there now protecting us and defending our freedoms. We have an obligation to, when they come home, to not be thrown to Penn Station, Grand Central to fend for themselves. We need to create and continue to reform the Department of Veteran Affairs to allow soldiers easy, fast, and effective access to healthcare, housing, and any kind of service they might be needing or requiring. And lastly, I just want to put it this way. I don't think there should be a statistic on homelessness of veterans. I think it's gross that there is such numbers out there. My team identified a recent report as far as north as 75,000 in the tri-state area alone. I can't even imagine what it's nationally. I mean, honestly, I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think it should be a statistic. I don't think it should be a problem. It's common sense. They come home, they don't have a place to go. You kick out anyone and you put them or build something or create programs. But that's it, folks. Thank you very much. I do want to put it in there. My team is going to go around collecting your names, phone numbers, and emails to keep you updated. Sign the sheet. It's helpful for you to know what's going on. I'm not sure, but I go on a wild guess and say about 70% of this room lives in Tom Swazi's district. And I think it's time for Swazi to go. Yes! And I think we need to remember one thing. Any little bit helps. If you can contribute, we're going to have contribution forms going around as well. And thank you very much for your time. I'll take any questions if you have. You can't do the rabbi first. I call on him, and now you'll go next.
You said some things that were really nice. One thing I want to get some clarity on, in terms of this immigration issue, we hear people talk about calling it a hot button issue or a sensitive issue. You're talking about being realistic. But the fact of the matter is we first have to have enforcement of our immigration laws. And as the old saying goes, if you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime. If someone's in the country illegally, they know they're here illegally. They know they're violating our laws. They know there are people waiting in line to follow our laws to come to the country legally. And to give these people a reward for breaking our laws, I think is wrong. I think it's one thing, I don't have to track down every guy who's just mowing lawns in here in the country illegally. But if they get caught, too bad, throw them out. I don't think they're, I think we need to get some clarity on this, and I want to hear what you have to say about what I'm saying, that we don't want to reward people for breaking our immigration laws. We see that, you say you don't want to use the word amnesty. Well, it basically is an amnesty if we find a way. Reagan tried that. We see how that worked. We created a lot more Democrats.
Thank you. And that question's been tossed at me a couple of times, so I'm kind of becoming an expert at answering it. And that happens, right? I mean, so it's, when I say realistic, I don't mean to offend anybody. I just say it's not feasible. I mean, we don't even have enough law enforcement agents to cover one for one. I mean, of course. So what I say is, I'm not saying amnesty, as I said earlier. I'm saying there are families that have been here who generate jobs, who have small businesses, undocumented. They do, and again, like I said, it's a sticky situation, but we have to look, a lot of these people are fathers and mothers to American citizens. Whether we like it or not, how do we go about, do we go home and accept that we're going to break up families in a fashion where we're actually deporting, at this point, American citizens? Because these kids are Americans. So that's where I go into this very special cases. I'm not saying abroad anything. I'm saying let's try to focus on those who have kids, because I'll put it this way, very simply, and it is a hot button issue. If you have a 10-year-old child, a 12-year-old child, and obviously they were born here, they're American citizens, do you think us as Americans, we should send them into some third world country and let them fend for themselves? I know they're not, it's not our fault, definitely not our fault, but it's a patriotic thing. We should defend our own, and I believe those kids are our own, even though they come from an act of error and arrogance and illegal lawlessness. We still need to recognize them as Americans, as it is the law of the land to be let to rest, as they call it. Like I said, that's going to end. That's that free giveaway. That's definitely going to end. I'd love to share with you my immigration reform stances, and we'll have a lot to talk on that.
Hi, I want to just say that I'm a natural-born American, daughter of two foreign nationals, immigrants who came here legally, correctly, proper way. My husband, God rest his soul, was also an immigrant, as well as his entire family. They all came here, immigrated here, the proper way. They were so proud of coming here the right way. They were too proud to take one penny from the government, ever. No matter how difficult it was, they figured it out, and they made their own way. And if you even offered them assistance, they would be insulted. So anyone who comes here and thinks that we should be handing them out and helping them and having compassion, there's a difference between compassion and being a sucker.
Great.
So, and as far as the children that are born here to these illegals, in my humble opinion, and you can call me whatever name you want, I think that citizenship should be revoked. A person who comes here illegally, pregnant, knowing very well she's going to cross the border and have herself a little anchor baby, should not be allowed to have an American citizen. That citizenship should be revoked, and citizenship should only be conveyed to children of people who come here lawfully. That's my opinion.
It seems like our families were very similar. So yeah, I come from an immigrant family that actually has the same mindset. I'd also like to say that yes, I think that we need to start ending the policy that allows anchor babies. That's a start, but that's also part of extensive immigration reform. We need to end the anchor baby policy. You cross the border, you skip the border, whatever you call it, you overstay your visa and you have a kid, yeah, that's a problem. But moving forward, we end that, and that's also in my proposal for immigration reform. But unfortunately, we can't revoke citizenships. That's just not how it works, unfortunately, and that's bigger than I am and bigger than most of us. You know, it's constitutional right as it is, and it requires extensive reform, and that's what I'm achieving to make.
My question is this. Since 2016, Mr. Suarez has been able to fend off attacks. In 16 against the former state senator from that area, Mon, I think it was, and 18. What makes you think that would be different this time? Why do you think he's vulnerable this time?
So, Congressman Suozzi is a very interesting person. He has something, and I'll be brief with this. He has a tool on his website that's supposed to geolocate him, so you know where he is that day, and it's supposed to pinpoint Capitol Hill, constituent services, and it's called Where's Suozzi. If you type Where's Suozzi that day, it gives you an error. So he don't really know where Suozzi is technically, which is great because my campaign has decided hashtag Where's Suozzi. You know, he's really not doing his job. If you're going to put that tool up there, you make sure it's working so nobody makes fun of you. But honestly, with Congressman Suozzi, my honest and humble opinion is his name recognition and the way he's gotten to power has been pretty much through dynasty. For those of you who know and follow Long Island politics, Oyster Bay, Glen Cove, his family's been in politics. It's a generational family. Obviously, it's not an easy race. I wish I could tell you what the outcome would be and how it would be, but like I said, I think that we don't have an easy battle, but it's not an impossible battle, given that it's such an easy mathematical equation that it's just a +1 Democratic seat. It's about getting people organized, excited, and boots on the ground.
Yes. My second part of my question: Do you think that with the impeachment controversy that is going on now, and it might galvanize other Republicans to come out? What Kavanaugh did last year, something impeachment might do this year or next year?
I think that the whole story with impeachment was a gift to all of us running for Congress. I think a lot of Congress people can say a lot of money has come into their accounts after all these Democrats jumped on this bandwagon. And what that shows is not monetary wealth or strength, it shows support. Every $5 means a person went onto your website and donated. And when you start amassing those dollars in large numbers, you see the amount of support you have. So it's about a shot in the foot. He's in a swing district. His stunt to come out and flaunt about supporting the impeachment only drove more traffic to me. And I've met people in the groves, and I thank him for that. Thank you, Congressman Suozzi. I appreciate it. Any more questions? All right, last one.
The salt tax deduction. The tax deduction. The salt tax deduction. What do you think you want to change it a little bit, because it really hurt New York. The tax deduction.
Talking about Trump's reform.
The
tax reform.
That particular thing hurt New York, and I think both sides in New York, everyone in New York really wasn't for it.
So, obviously, tax reform is in my proposal. Being a financial individual and being a financier and working in Wall Street, I've learned a thing or two about tax codes and whatnot. Look, just like everybody in here, the Trump tax reform might have worked for Iowa, but it sure didn't work in New York. It's egregious.
It's for one, it's for two people. They should have a certain amount, one person and a certain amount for a couple. It's just a straight $10,000.
Exactly. So obviously it's not working for us, and we need to change that. We need to come up with a tax reform that benefits the whole country, not some states and ignores the others. I know in the beginning the idea, and President Trump and everyone had a great idea, but in execution, given our type, given the status of the state, unfortunately, it didn't work, and we will be working to rectify that. I want to thank everybody for your time. I want to thank everybody for being here. I look forward to seeing a lot more of you guys in the months to come, and it's going to get busy. Thank you.
All right. job. Good job, George. Anthony. Let's give him another round of applause and wish him the best of luck on a very, very tough race, but winnable.